Before I start the video, I will be representing the people that we will be reporting today. I am Leonard Joseph Algaraz and my co-group mate Ezekiel Abrenica. We will be reporting about rendering techniques in different softwares and its different application. So the first one that will be starting was Ezekiel Abrenica. So that's it.
Rendering techniques encompass a wide range of methods and processes used to create visual representation or images, whether for artistic, technical, or illustrative purposes. These techniques vary depending on the medium and tools you're using. Here are some general rendering techniques. Number 1. Digital rendering. Digital rendering involves using software tools like Photoshop, Corel Draw, or 3D modeling software to create and manipulate images, illustrations, and 3D models. Number 2. Traditional drawing and painting. Traditional rendering techniques involve using physical media like pencil, charcoal, ink, watercolors, and oil paints to create artwork. Techniques can include shading or hatching, blending, and layering of colors. Number 3. 3D rendering. 3D rendering techniques are used to visualizations. This includes architectural rendering, product rendering, and animations generated from 3D models. And number 4. Photorealistic rendering. This technique aims to create images or 3D rendering that closely resemble real-life scene or objects. It often involves high resolutions, textures, accurate lighting, and meticulous attention to detail. Number 5. Illustration rendering. Illustrators use various techniques to render characters, scenes, or objects. Techniques can include stippling, pointillism, pen, and ink, and digital painting. Number 6. Architectural rendering. Architectural renderings are created to visualize buildings and spaces before construction. This often involves 3D modeling and realistic lighting to showcase design concepts.
These are different styles and images that hasn't used with rendering techniques. So if you don't want to see it anymore, you can skip this part and proceed to the next video. It will be a little bit long seconds, but the next video will be next. So that's it.
Hi, I'm Leonard Joseph Ciarcaras, and I'm gonna be reporting alongside with my co-group mate Ezekiel Abrenica. So I'm gonna be continuing what he's reporting right now. We are in scientific rendering. So what is scientific rendering? Scientific rendering are used in visualizing data and scientific concepts. This includes This includes like volume rendering for medical imaging or data visualization. So this is a picture, an example of it. So the next one is concept art rendering. So what is concept artist? So what is concept art rendering? So concept artists use rendering techniques to visualize ideas for video games, movies, and other media. And also, this technique involves quick sketches or digital concept art. So I'm gonna paste the image here to see for the example, because overall we are reporting for rendering techniques, so we will see what is different kinds and what will be seeing any different. Yeah. So the next one is real-time rendering. This technique is used in video games and interactive applications to generate visuals in real time. It requires optimizing rendering techniques and processes for speed and performance. So just like concept art rendering, it was used for video games and other type of medias, and but mostly it was used in games for the characters animations and actions and different scenes in video games. And the next one is non-photorealistic rendering, or NPR. These techniques are used to create stylized, artistic, or cartoon-like visuals, often with an emphasis on line and work unique styles. So an example of this non-photorealistic rendering is in the movie of Miles Morales, like Spider-Man into the multiverse. And I will paste the image here or there or whatever, wherever. So the next one is technical rendering. So technical rendering is a style of technical drawings and diagrams that are created with precise rendering techniques to convey information. So mostly this technical rendering usually used in creating a diagram for a specific things, like in math or big surfaces of a drawing. So I will just paste a image here for you to see the example of it. And it's also used in engineering, architecture, and technical documentation. So the next one is matte painting. So what is matte painting? It involves in blending real and digital elements to create realistic backgrounds for movies and video. And this often includes photo manipulation and digital painting. As I said earlier, it was also used in movies and video games. And the image will be here or there, because anywhere, bahala na si editor. So, digital sculpting. Artists use software like ZBrush or Blender to digitally sculpt 3D models, adding detail and texture to create realistic or fantastical characters and creatures. So this digital sculpting is usually used in different kinds of medias too, for video games or artistic purposes or anything, because this 3D modeling enabled the artists to make some easy sculpting in a digital world, not like in a physical world that you need to buy any materials that's needed to make it more physically. Yeah, that's it. And example of it will be here, there, anywhere. Okay. Next. Now we will be going to Photoshop. So Photoshop offers various rendering techniques to enhance and manipulate images. And here are some rendering techniques that you can use in Photoshop. So, blending modes. Photoshop has a wide range of blending modes that affect how layers interact with each other. Experiment with modes like overlay, multiply, screen, and more to achieve different rendering effects. So, I will be just pasting the icon of the blending modes here. And you can use it in Photoshop. Maybe there. Yeah. So, and the next one is filters. Photoshop provides numerous filters, including Gaussian, blur, motion blur, and lens flare, to apply various visual effects to your images. So I will just be pasting the images here of the icon. And layer styles. You can apply layer styles like drop shadow, bevel, and emboss, and gradient, overlay to add depth and dimension to your images. So all of those things and the icons I will be pasting here. If you open a Photoshop, all the things that I'm gonna be explaining here for photo rendering will be applied. And the next one is brushes. Brushes uses different kinds of various settings like opacity, flow, and blending modes to paint and render specific parts of your image. Alright. If you open a Photoshop, all the things that I'm gonna be explaining here for photo rendering will be applied, and I will be showing you the full scale of the Photoshop, the full windows of the Photoshop. And the next one is mask. Layer mask and clipping mask allow you to control the visibility and rendering effects of areas within a layer. So the icon of the mask will be placed here, and you can just search in YouTube on how to use it. So adjustment layers. It was applied as layers like levels, curves, and hue and saturation to modify the color, contrast, and brightness of your image without altering the original pixels. So these adjustment layers is usually used in images that you want it to be not to be changed for its composition of the image, and I will be pasting the use of here and the image here you wanted to do. And the next one is smart filters. Convert your layer and smart object and apply filters as smart filters. This enables you to make non-destructive changes to your filters and rendering effects. So this smart filters was used for making your images not to be changed. Like you take a photo of Ivana Alawi and you paste it in your Photoshop and you make it smaller and you make it bigger. The pixels of that will not be changed if you turn it into a smart object. And I will be pasting the icon here. The next one is gradient maps. This gradient maps is used to map a specific colors to the total range of your image, creating unique color grading effects. So I will be pasting the icon here, and I will be maybe at the end of it I will be sending you a link to watch on how to use these types of icons and rendering techniques later at the end of this video with my co-worker or groupmate. And the next one is brush tool and blending modes. This brush tool with various blending modes is used to paint and render texture, shadows, and highlights. And it will be here, the icon here. And the next one is layer opacity and fill. This adjusts the opacity and fill of a layer that controls the intensity of rendering effects and make them more subtle. So icon here, dito, pabili ako ng puto. Then the next one is textures overlays. These textures overlays import textures and overlay them onto your image, and also adjust their blending modes and opacity to create textures effects. Here, icon. So the next one is 3D rendering. If you're working with 3D objects, Photoshop offers 3D rendering capabilities to create and manipulate 3D scenes and objects. And icon here. So remember that effectiveness of these techniques are also often depends on your specific project and creative vision. Experimentation is key to mastering Photoshop rendering capabilities. So just study what the links that I will be pasting here and just watch the teas to learn how to render in Photoshop. Yeah? Good job.
This is a Photoshop Windows. As you can see, there's different icons that is used in Photoshop. If you watch the tutorial, they will teach you on how to utilize all of it and to be used in rendering. As for the techniques, you can learn it by step. That's it.
The choice of techniques depends on your specific project, goals, medium, and artistic or technical requirements. Experimentation and practice are essential for mastering rendering techniques in your chosen field. Rendering techniques refers to the various methods and algorithms used in computer graphics to create realistic or stylized images from 3D models. Some common rendering techniques include number 1, ray tracing, a technique that simulates the path of light rays as they interact with objects in a scene, allowing for highly realistic lighting and reflections. Number 2, rasterization. This is the standard technique used in real-time graphics. It converts 3D models into 2D images by projecting vertices onto a 2D plane and filling in pixels. Number 3. Global illumination. Methods like RGCT and photon mapping are used to simulate indirect lighting effect, creating more realistic and natural scenes. Number 4. Shading. This involves determining how light interacts with surfaces. Techniques like Phoning shading and BRDFS stand for bidirectional reflectance distribution functions, are used to calculate surface colors and reflections. Number 5. Texture mapping. Applying 2D images, textures onto 3D surfaces to add detail and realism. Number 6. Anti-aliasing. Methods like MSAA, multi-sample anti-aliasing, and FXAA, fast approximate anti-aliasing, reduce jagged edges in rendered images. Number 7. Shadow mapping. Creating shadows by rendering a depth map from the perspective of the light source and then comparing it to the view from the camera. Number 8. Post-processing effects. Techniques like bloom, motion blur, and depth of field are applied to the final image and enhance realism or achieve artistic effects. And number 9. Real-time versus offline rendering. Real-time rendering is used in video game and interactive application, while offline rendering, often with ray tracing, is used in film and animation production. Number 10. Stylized rendering. Techniques like self-shading or tool shading create non-realistic artistic visuals. These techniques are used in combination to achieve different visual effects and levels of realism in computer graphics and 3D rendering. The choice of techniques depends on the specific requirements of the project and available computation resources. Corel Draw, like Photoshop, offers various rendering techniques to enhance and manipulate vector in bitmap graphics. Here are some common rendering techniques you can use in Corel Draw. Number 1. Transparency. Corel Draw allows you to adjust the transparency of objects, creating effects like glass, shadows, and fades. You can control transparency using the transparency tool or the transparency docker. Number 2. Blend tool. Use the blend tool to create smooth transitions between object and colors. This can be useful for creating gradients and intricate shapes. And then number 3. Power clip. Power clip lets you place one object inside another while maintaining full editability. This is handy for creating complex shape and effects. Number 4. Mesh filling. Mesh fill. Mesh fill allows you to create gradients and with multiple nodes, giving you a precise control over color transitions within objects. Number 5. Envelope distortion. Distort and warp object using envelope distortion. This is useful for creating text effects or blending objects along curves. Number 6. Drop shadows and contours. Corel Draw provides tools like to add drop shadows and contours to objects, giving them depth and dimensions. Number 7. Transparency and color effects. Experiment with various transparency and color effects in the effects menu, such as Gaussian blur, sharpen, and sepia. Number 8. Bitmap effects. When working with bitmap images in Corel Draw, You can apply bitmap effects like grayscale, half-tone, and noise to achieve different rendering styles. Number 9, artistic media. Use the artistic media tools to apply brush strokes, calligraphy, or custom shapes along paths, creating artistic and hand-drawn effects. Number 10, interactive fill tools. This tool allows you to create complex fill patterns, gradients, and mesh fills interactively within objects. Number 11, extrude and bevel. CorelDRAW extrude and bevel tools let you give 2D object and 3D appearance, making them look like they raise or recessed. Number 12, interactive transparencies. The interactive transparencies tools allows you to interactively control the transparency and blending of objects. Number 13, lens effect. CorelDRAW includes various lens effects like fisheye, zoom, and twirl to distort or transform objects and images creatively. Number 14, special effects. Explore the special effects menu for additional rendering options such as adding textures, stylize, or contour effect to your objects. CorelDRAW rendering techniques are variable for graphics design, illustration, and layout tasks. The choice of techniques depends on your specific projects and creative objectives. Experimentation and practice are key to mastering these rendering tools in CorelDRAW.
CorelDRAW. It is one of the most important softwares that is used mostly this day. It was used for making a logo, a design, and anything that is used in our different advertisements. It was a very useful software.
So, our topic will be about rendering techniques in AutoCAD. It will be the last, and so listen carefully to what I will be talking about. So, AutoCAD is primarily a computer-aided design that was as a software used for creating technical drawings and design. While it's not a tool for artistic rendering like Photoshop or CorelDRAW, it does offer various rendering techniques to enhance the visual representation of your technical drawings and models. So, this AutoCAD was used in engineering, and this was used in engineering and architect. So, here are some styles in rendering techniques for AutoCAD. So, visual styles. AutoCAD provides several visual styles that controls how your 3D models are displayed. These styles include concepts like realistic, conceptual, shaded, and wireframe, each offering different levels of detail and rendering quality. So, I will be pasting the visual styles here for AutoCAD. And the next one is materials. These materials is applicable to 3D objects in AutoCAD to give them realistic textures and appearances. It can adjust the properties like color, reflectivity, and transparency to achieve the desired rendering effect. The next icon, and the next one is lighting. The AutoCAD allows you to set up and control various lighting conditions within your 3D models. This can include sunlight, artificial lights, and ambient lighting to illuminate your designs realistically. So here, the the icon, and later on I will be pasting the link where you can watch and learn how to use AutoCAD. And rendering presets. AutoCAD provides rendering presets that simplify the process of AutoCAD provides rendering presets that simplify the process of configuring rendering settings for different scenarios, such as interior or exterior scenes. So I will be pasting the icon here. Then the next one is render to image. You can render your AutoCAD models to image like JPEG or PNG to create high quality visual representations for presentations and documentations. You can create an objects or any types of images for you to render and use in your AutoCAD. So the image will be here, and just click that in your Autocad software. And also learn the basics in YouTube that I will be pasting the links here later after I finish my recording. So the next one is backgrounds. The background was customizable for your rendered images or viewport to include the sky or rather environment for a more immersive look. So it was usually used in when you're buying a lot in a different kind of subdivisions. They will offer you a pamphlet, and there will be a description of what is your house and where will be the location, the sizes, and so forth. So the icons will be here, and the tutorial will be given later. So render quality settings. It was adjustable that usually helps in rendering quality settings like resolution, anti-aliasing, and ray tracing options to control the level of detail and realism of your renderings. So it was used in rendering to make your background more believable and more realistic. So icon here and link later. And depth of field. AutoCAD offers depth of field settings to control the focus point and blurriness in rendered images in stimulating camera effects. So icon here, and maybe the image example of image here, and the all other examples of rendering text is same on AutoCAD. One is render presets. Use predefined render presets or create your own custom settings to save time rendering different scenes or objects. And image here, icon here. Post processing. Enhance the image and it make more manageable to read. No, it's not readable. It's more like a view, like you want the image to be more precise and beautiful. Yeah. Then AutoCAD's rendering capabilities are her most commonly used in architectural and product design to create realistic visualizations of technical drawings and 3D models. While it may not have the artistic rendering capabilities of software like Photoshop, it excels at creating accurate and detailed technical renderings. The links will be below the description, so go watch them for you to learn all the things that we have discussed with my co-group mate. So ciao ciao, I will be back to my chapel. Ciao. So this learning will be basta I will mention all the
These the links that we will be used for Corel Draw and Photoshop, and also I will be including the tutorials for AutoCAD, so anyone can learn how to use it, because we just report the uses and different just for that rendering techniques. This is just a random scenery while riding a bike. As you can see, there's different places in here in Lipa that we can enjoy as we ride a bike from going home. Also, this random scenery when I ride my bike at bypass road. You can see different places here in Lipa. That's also good. As our topic with my co-group mate earlier, the rendering techniques. We can use that in our everyday lives as we find jobs that uses and utilize all of it. So for all the people that wants to learn, just watch the link on my that I paste down below in the description, and also the link that I posted before our reporting. So that's it, and I will be saying goodbye, and also just enjoy the scenery, and thank you. Goodbye.